Viejo is going to the range shortly. You're a very blessed man. I would go shooting today, but we're going to watch some football and relax. So, but it's getting that time to get out and go shooting. So you have a very, very good day, Walter. So it's going to be a little bit of a different live stream. Um, it's kind of developed by kind of the way the topic went yesterday. I was telling the viewers I was setting up for a Sierra bullet, but what I'm going to start doing is loading up some of these cast bullets they have. I'm going to start getting them used up, and so just through conversation, I just thought it would be a neat video. Take a look at these, weigh them out, see what we have. And one thing we have is Reb Tyree. Reb Tyree is in the house. Good to have you, buddy. But just kind of talk about where these fit in. When we come across a bullet that we call it an unknown. I mean, we know if it's a round nose. We know if it's a truncated cone. We know if it's a semi-wide cutter. We know that. The other thing we know is there's a MacMan 39 reloading in the house, and there's a Milsurp Duo in the house. Anyway, well, so what do? We got these bullets we don't know what to do with. And so I just thought I would just kind of share this and take what you want, leave what you don't. So just so everyone knows, in the next couple weeks here, Milsurp Duo, if it all works out the way it's supposed to, he's going to be live with me. We will be loading for M1 Garand 30-06. That's what we'll be doing. And so that should be in the next 2 weeks. This week I'll be talking about just resizing the 30-06 cartridge case. The week after, he and I will be live reloading. And he'll have hopefully have his setup and he'll follow along. So stay tuned for that. And I was the other day on my live stream telling you guys that I'll be about a month in the M1 Garand, and then I will be shifting into I have a couple others, 762 by 39 and 762 by 54R. So I got some neat stuff coming up on my channel. So, all right, I have all these bullets. What do I do with them, right? Jerry Bear Tactical is on. You know, I almost went to the I've never been to the SHOT Show. We almost went this year. But I want to take care of a few other things financially, and next year we're gonna go. Oh yeah, Miss Hybo and me. So we talked about that. Next year we just might be at the SHOT Show. So all right. So Tactical FUD is in the house. So now everything's going to be just fine. So where did I get these? I to the best of my memory, you guys, I always buy this stuff up at garage sales. But honestly, I can't remember. I've just been collecting them, and now it's time to send them downrange. But throughout my life, I've always I love garage sales because I know what I'm looking for. Gun stuff, knife stuff, reloading stuff, and guns and knives. So go to a garage sale, walk in. First thing I always ask at a garage sale, are you selling any guns? If it's a yes, I look. If it's a no, then I say, do you reload or anything like that? And actually, if this can sound so bad, I don't always ask if do they reload, because then they know what they've got. It's really cool when you go to a garage sale and somebody got something like this, and they say, well, $2 for all those, right? Oh man, that's the deal we want, right? So that's a really good way to come across right there, powder, cases, bullets. It's a great way. But what comes with that is bullets that you might not know what to do with, or you're a little shy. You're kind of undecided. So let's talk about it. So the first thing, we have a selection of bullets here, and we have a box here. This box is kind of unknown. We kind of know what it is. There's 250 bullets in this box. These are 38 caliber semi-wad cutters. Sure enough, semi-wad cutters, and they're 165 grain bullets. Well, that's awesome. And real estate sales, that's right, Reb, exactly. He thinks just like I do. So these are 165 grain bullets, and we weigh it, and we're a little low. We're at 161. 158. 161. These aren't really coming out to be 165 like we thought. 157. So now we're seeing a pretty wide range in weight coming off these bullets. Why is that? For one thing, these might not even be the bullets that were in that box. Get me? The reason these could be across the board with weight is, one, if they had a mold that was a multi-cavity mold. Okay. The other reason why maybe these aren't the weight they should be is because of whether they how hard the alloy is. Okay. I'm just throwing that in there. If you see someone's handwritten something of a certain weight, this one they put 133 and it doesn't weigh that. Well, maybe for their bullet mold, their mold, it was calling for a particular weight, but the way they the hardness they set it up for, that's going to change the weight. Okay, so this tells us we have an unknown here. Okay, we certainly have an unknown, but we know something. We have a range, and we have a bullet design, and we got awesome Jer Bear Tactical in the house, and Critter is in the house. So now I have another bullet. This is, if we look at this, this is it's a Keith style semi-wad cutter. So let's take a look at the weight on that bullet. That's a 164. Okay. Now that's a 164. 161. We got Jesse Shaver in the house. 163. 162. A 170. 164. So we see these are in the 165 to 170. Are you guys getting my drift here? A box of bullets could be a particular weight, but we see a range in weight. Okay. Now hold on to that thought. Okay. $158 grain. Semi-wad cutter. $158. These are nicer, aren't they? 158. Ah, okay. So we got something. So we have a box of 158 grain semi-wad cutters here. Now, I always say numbers don't lie. For the video, I'm not going to weigh 10 of each, but if you wanted to weigh more of each to get more of a consistency, that's all the better for you. The more numbers you run, the more accurate you're going to be, okay? Let's take a look at this one. Okay, 160, 161, 160, 162, oops, 159.6, okay, 159.6, 162. These are 160 grain. That's what those are. And we have a little bit of a deviation in weight there. These say 133 grain. Let's see what they are. The 135, 134.9, 133.4, 134.8. I would definitely say these came off of a mold that was 133 grain mold, and we're seeing they're a little heavier because of the hardness that the person cast these. Okay, so those are going to be 133 grain. That's a weird one. Where do you see load data for 133? So how would we address that? Well, hang on and I'll explain this to you. So I got a bag. This bag, these say 158 grain. There's some semi-wad cutters and a round nose. Now I'm going to explain the mystery to the 133s, your load data. But one of the things that's going to help us to solve the mystery is I have two different bullets, a semi-wad cutter and a round nose, the same weight. Now there's an indicator for you. Follow along. I'm going to explain this to you. Okay. Get this baggie open. Oh, that was already open. Okay. So I have some, these are very nice bullets. Okay, I have not looked at these bullets hardly at all. I can tell you much about them except they're very clean. It's a very clean bullet. Okay. These are supposed to be 158. Okay, that's a 155. That's a semi-wad cutter. It's 156. 155. Here's a round nose. That's a 158. These are supposed to be 158s, but they're about 3 grains off. Looks like our round nose off of this bunch really is phenomenal. The R158. These semi-wad cutters are varying by 3 grains. Okay, so what do we do here? Okay, if you look in your Lee load manual, you're going to see a selection of bullets. Like you go to your 38 special. I can't put my Lee out here because I agree that I'm not going to show all their information. Legally, I don't want to get in trouble, but that's okay. So you go to Lee and you go to 38 special, or you go to 357 Magnum and you start looking at their bullets. You're going to see plated, jacketed, hollow points, and then you're going to see lead bullet. As an example, you would see 170 grain lead bullet. It doesn't say whether it's a semi-wad cutter. It doesn't say whether it's a round nose flat point. It doesn't say whether it's a round nose. It doesn't say whether it's a truncated. It says 170 grain lead bullet. That's what it says. So now you just go back to the beginning of 38 Special or 357 mag or 44 caliber or 41 caliber, and you start looking. They have jacketed, plated, hollow points, and then lead bullet. So we have lead bullets. So now we're looking at what data? Lead bullet data. Well, let's take one of these as our example. Let's take this one. 160 grain. So if I go to a load data manual and I choose 160 grain recipe and I load this bullet, okay, now hang on. Where am I going to seat this to? The crimp groove. It's going to tell you your depth. You with me? Okay. So if these are 160 grain bullets, right? And I'm running the recipe data off 160 grain bullet. Well, that's a little heavier, isn't it? That's close to 160. That's a 160. That's a 160. 161. 160. 162. The ones with the black lube tend to come in right onto that 160. But the brown lube, we're about 2, almost 3 grains higher. We're almost 3 grains higher on some of the weights of these bullets than our lighter ones. But yet, based off the load data for a 160 grain bullet, we can run these. Because there's a window of, right? We're using load data for a 168 grain bullet, but we got a 3 grain spread. Okay. Now, here's one for you to itch your head at. Take what you want, leave what you don't. So these are 160s. That's what we're going to call those. We're going to call these ones, if I remember right, these are also going to be, oh, okay, a 170. So in this 160s, we've got a 170 in there. Does that mean we're going to blow our gun up? No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean that. Okay. These are all cast off of 170s. They're going to fit the 170 profile. Okay. Let's take a look at these. I mean, they're going to fit the 160 profile. I apologize. So that's a 160. No, 158. Okay, that's the 160, 158. Okay. So when you're looking at your load data, you're going to see a 158 grain semi-wad cutter and a 160. Okay. Well, pick which one you want, right? There's a 2 grain difference on those bullets. Okay. I've read this. I don't know if it's true. I don't know. It's not my world. Okay. I don't develop molds. I'm not a bullet maker. 158 grain, well, a 158 and a 160 grain bullet, their crimp grooves are going to be slightly offset. So technically, you don't want to take a bullet that's been cast for 158 grain and run it into a 160 or vice versa. You hear me? But we can take a 160 grain. I know I'm confusing people. And we can begin running load data off that. This is your bottom line. I have a 158 and I have a 160. Okay. The average of these are 158. These are coming out 160. And you say, well, my crimp groove's off a little bit. Is that going to affect it? No. And I'll tell you why. Because when I'm looking at my quick loads, which is my software program, and I have a particular bullet. So let's say I'm taking a 160 grain bullet and it's seated to a particular depth. And I have my charge and it shows me my internal pressure. I can change that seat depth up to say 5 or 10 thousandths deeper and it hardly does nothing to my internal pressures. We got GGW outdoors, okay? So this is what I'm saying. You'll hear guys say, well, you know, if this bullet was cast off of a 160, you want to use that 160 load data. Yeah, if you knew that's what that was cast off of, I would say, yeah, great. That's the direction you want to go. But we don't know, do we? Because as far as we know, both of these could be a 158. All these could be a 160, but we're seeing a variation in these. We're seeing that some of these came in really consistent for 158, right? So for these, this is the first thing we want to take into consideration is the hardness of these bullets and how fast we're going to push them. So, and the other thing, the manner in which they're lubricating these. This is a moly coat bullet, okay? The moly, it's a lubricator within itself, so it doesn't have your traditional lube. These are going to have your traditional lube, okay? The hardness on these bullets, I'm going to guess, I'm just guessing. I haven't looked at them yet. I'm going to peg these somewhere in the 15. Somewhere in the 15. I'm going to say that I could run these in 38 special but I could also run these up into my 357 Magnums. I would say that I actually have a hardness tester, but I don't want to take the time to test all of them. I would say that I could run pretty moderate loads through my 357 Magnum. You're saying, well, how hard could you push them? Well, this is what I would say. On these, my intentions are 38 special. I'm going to be safe across the board running all these through whatever 38 special load I want to run them through. The best performing, the ones that led the least in the bore, if I get any at all, those would be the ones I would consider running in my 357 Magnum. If you find bullets like this and you don't sense them as being as soft, then what you can do, you can begin running these through your 357 Magnum, starting with your lower velocities, your lower pressure, and you go about that way. Okay. For me, always ran laser cast, laser cast, laser cast, laser cast. Laser cast, they have a Vernil hardness. They're in the 18. Laser cast, I can run those all day long in any of my 44 Magnum, and I get like zero leading. Okay. These, I have a feeling I can run these through my 38 special all day long, and I'm not going to have any issues. So this is how I would approach a bullet assortment such as this, where you have multiple bullets, all the same caliber, but they're falling within a certain range. So we'll just take this one here. Once again, 158 grain, 159, 159, 160. I would call these 160 grain. That's the load data I would run those through. I would start on your load data somewhere near say 10% above a min charge. 10% above a min charge, okay? Now, you're saying, okay, that's a semi-wad cutter. We'll go back to what does the Lee load data manual have? It has jacketed, it has plated, it has hollow points, and then it has lead bullet. It doesn't say whether it's a semi-wad cutter. It doesn't say whether it's a round nose. It doesn't say that, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to seat that bullet to your crimp groove. Now, as an example, some load data manuals, you'll go in there, it's for like cast only, right? Cast only bullets, and it'll say that load data is good for semi-wad cutter, round nose, flat point. See, you can take multiple cast bullet styles and put those under one load data category. You're just seating to the crimp groove, okay? Let's take this one as an example. These molly coated, okay? It's 157 grain. 158. 161. 161. I would run those through 160s. Okay. Now, here's the cool thing. If you chronograph, then you can also run those under 158 grain. And you begin chronographing, seeing where your accuracy falls. And you should be chronographing anyway. That's the other part of the equation here is you really don't want to do this blind. You can do this without a chronograph. If I was going to take these out without a chronograph, I would simply start 10 below, 10, say 10% above a min charge, and I would develop it up for an accuracy. And as I'm going up in pressures, I would look for signs of, well, one of the guys the other day, I think yesterday, said, can we do a live stream on reading primer pressure? Well, here you go. Or reading the case for overcharged condition. For overcharged condition on a revolver, a flattened primer does not mean it's excessively high pressures. But a flattened primer with soot that's hard to extract, that's signs of exceedingly high pressures. You need to back that down. So without a chronograph, you most certainly could. You're going to go out, say 10% above a min, and you're going to be working up your loads, looking for the accuracy, and you're going to find that accuracy group before you get up to max pressures, provided that you don't have a bad forcing cone or something's wrong with the revolver to where it just has no accuracy. We're talking about a good functioning revolver, okay? But a chronograph is king because the chronograph is going to tell you your velocities are proportional to your internal case pressure. The higher the velocity, the higher pressure. You can then begin relating these velocities to what you're looking at in your cookbook of recipes, and you can relate that climb in pressure or the climb in velocity to the pressure that you're seeing on the case. Okay. So now what I have here, let's just do it this way. $161, $163, $158, $160. There's our 133s. So these two here are our oddballs. These two and these are the similar. But you would never want to mix them. Even though we can run them under the same load data because they're a bullet close to the same weight, they're still going to, in groups, have their own characteristics of accuracy. You say, well, how's that? Well, I tell you this 133 grain bullet has a spread of about 5 grains. Its nose profile is going to be different than the nose profile on that semi-wad cutter. And at the point it enters your forcing cone, it's going to change all the characteristics of your pressure. And that's going to change the characteristics of what's coming out of your muzzle. So, like on these, I made sure that as I stored them away, I kept them in their original boxes. So I hope that kind of gives you an idea. Now, a powder that is really good. From my experience, what I would call a good transitional powder is Unique. Why? Unique is called Unique because it's so unique. It has properties about it, um, how it performs, and it's a forgiving powder. I can forgiving in the way that I can come down to say 10% above a minimum safely. This powder isn't so fast, it's going to ignite in the chamber just like bullseye would. This is going to burn a little further down the bore. Okay, it's going to enable you to begin working up to a safe load. It's a transitional powder because when you chronograph with that, now here's where your chronograph is going to come in. You chronograph with that and you have your numbers. Now through your load data in your recipe books, you can begin looking at other powders that perform similar to that, and you can begin stepping into other powders. Okay, so Unique is a very good powder for when you're wanting to run bullets like this. Okay, especially like I got a whole slug of these for my 44 caliber. So if I want to run 44 special, 44 magnum, what a great powder to have that I can begin working up loads with. And this is what you're going to find. And just take what you want, leave what you don't. I promote on my channel that we don't run junkyard ammo, okay? But on the same token, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong if you find a suitable group with this powder, with these bullets, and shoot them up. And then you do the same with this. And you do the same with that. If you each time just came up with a good group, whatever group you're comfortable with at whatever yardage, there is nothing wrong with that. And I'll tell you why. Because I bought these just to go shoot, just for my trigger time. Now, I know something. I know something about all these bullets. And if someone wants to go shoot with me and record with me in the desert, I will let you. I can take any one of these and I can take that powder and I can work up a load that I can begin hitting rabbits at 40 and 50 yards. That is not junkyard ammo. Now, why did we buy this? Just exactly for that. So we can go out and with good predictability, get good trigger time with good marksmanship, and we're having a good time loading what we want at the bench. What will ruin your shot group is if you get leading in your bore. If your bullets are too soft and you start letting up in that bore, your accuracy is going to go right out the window. But these are going to go through my Smith & Wesson Model 686 Plus. So I've got 7 rounds in that bad boy, and I cannot foresee that I'm really going to get any leading with the velocity I'm wanting to run with these. So it's a really good game plan, okay? What I see here is a lot of dead squirrels. That's what I see, okay? No. Anyway, so so I hope this is helpful because I get guys a lot and they'll say, you know, I got these bullets, I have nowhere to start, and um, can I bring a shotgun? Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'll bring mine too. Um, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. When we were looking at individual lots of bullets, we saw some of these were holding a 3 and 4 grain difference. People all the time purchase cast bullets that have as much as a 6 or 7 grain spread, and they load them up and they don't blow their guns up, right? So if you average out your weight, you're going off load data, average out your weight, going off load data, you're starting at least 10% above a min, and you're not going above max, you're going to find these are going to drive really good. Drive really good. A bunch of good little sports cars there, okay? So, I'm going to ask you guys a question here. And the question is which bullet, now hold your numbers. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which bullet group am I going to adjust these die for? And I'll show you how we'll set it up. Okay. When I say go, put your numbers. Is it group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5, or group 6? Okay, go. Which one am I going to make a dummy around with? And I'll do it, okay? While you guys do that, I'm going to get some cases. Kind of make it fun. Give us a little action. Okay. So while I'm waiting to see the numbers come in, so I have a big bag of brass here. When you are working with a bag of range brass, these have came from everywhere, all different head stamps, different revolvers. Put them in categories, okay? Okay, groups of length. There's a 45, that other one was a 47. There's a 51. You see that 51? It was a 45. So we have a 6,000ths difference from that case to that case, all right? Look at that. Even the thousandths less off that. 3, look at that. 8,000ths difference. Okay. Here's your lesson. Here's your lesson in range cases. We have 8,000ths difference between this case and this case. Okay. So if I set my expander die up for that case, when I go to see the bullet in that case, good chance we're going to shave the lead. On our seat bullet, if we're seating for a particular depth, well, when we seat into the shorter case, the mouth is going to be 8,000ths lower. That's going to affect crimp, isn't it? So let's do this. Let's do this. I'm going to see what group y'all called out the most. That's the bullet we'll set up. Let's set the dies up for this case, which is 8,000ths taller than that. So we'll make this one the proper one, and we'll see how that one comes in. Okay, let's just see if my theory holds true. Okay, so what group is it going to be? We got a 5, 4, 3, 3. Okay, group 3 right here. We're going to set it up for that one right there. Let's call it, what do you want to call that? 158 or 160? Now come on, right? You guys get what I'm saying? Now, which does it really matter at this point? It doesn't. Point well taken. Okay, so welcome to the High Boys world of reloading and how I see it. Okay, so let's come on up here. So, all right, we have we're going to resize our cartridge case, and now what we're going to do is I'm going to loosen my lock ring, and I'm going to back my expander off just a bit. Johnny 1982, it's good to have you. So what we're going to do, we're going to measure the mouth of the cartridge case. And we're at 70. Okay, we're at 72. All right. So this morning and last night we were running the live stream for the Sierra bullets. We're expanding 11 thousandths to 83. But these are, where's my Sierra bullet? Let me grab my Sierra so I can show you the difference here. I gotta clean this lube off. Okay. This is our Sierra bullet. Sitting at 0.357. Okay. 0.357. Now look at this bullet. Okay. It's all gummed up. This thing is so gummed up. It's not even funny. It's got lube everywhere. They've been sitting. Okay. There we go. It's about 2 thousandths larger. Okay. So instead of 8.3, we need 8.5, but we're going to do it. A Reb did. We're going to try and go for 8.4. Okay. So we're going to take this cartridge case. We're going to run it up, and we're going to begin taking measurements. Okay. So I've expanded it to 7.6, so we got a little ways to go. Now, when you're expanding the cases, all you want to do is expand it enough. There's 80, enough to get that bullet in, and that's it. $83.5. I'm going to see if it'll go. Now, this is something you need to know about cast bullets. If you shave the least amount of lead off that bullet, it's going to run a lead ring around that, and when you crimp it, it's going to hold that lead ring and it's going to slam it into your forcing cone. That's going to cause gas issues and leading issues. You don't want that. That's when you are shooting a revolver and you feel lead spray coming in your face. That's what that's from. Okay. So what I want to do, I just want like 1,000ths more and no more. Okay. So we're good. So now that we have it set, I'm going to run that case up. I'm going to tighten the lock ring. And now for this die, the only thing I'm going to off adjust is seat depth. So I do not know where I'm at with this. I really don't. I have to assume, though, Hang on. Hang on. I don't want to mess that case up. Okay, we're golden. So as you can see the lube there. We're coming up on the crimp groove, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little over 10 thousandths to that. You want to be, for a cannler, you want to be upper 90. For a crimp groove, you want to be around in the center of it. So now, .38 special, all just going to take is a light crimp, okay? Now, you want to do this every time. Run your fingernail around and make sure you remove any lead. Okay, there we go. So now what I want to do, now we're going to take this case, we're going to take this case that's 8 thousandths shorter, and let's just see if we have an effect here. Look, we shaved the bullet. Because this case is 8 thousandths shorter, we didn't get as much of a bell. So because it didn't bell it as much, it shaved the base. Okay, so that's why you want to be consistent. Now we're going to crimp it, but we're 8 thousandths shorter, and we hardly crimped that. Hardly crimped that. Look at that. That's the shorter one, and you can tell it didn't get the amount of crimp. You see that? This one got the. This one was taller by 8 thousandths. It seated smoothly without shaving the bullet, and it got the crimp. This one, 8 thousandths shorter, so it didn't get enough of expansion. It shaved the bullet, and now you can see we don't have the amount of roll crimp. So what will happen if your cases aren't uniform in length, you're going to have different internal pressures, and that's going to throw your shot groups off. So I want you to think about something as we wind this down. Kind of think about your time at the range and what's going on. So you go to the range with some cast bullets, and your groups are all over the place. and you're like, I do not understand what's going on. Am I getting any leading issues? Am I not? I must be. My groups are horrible. These bullets suck. No, no. Your case lengths weren't uniform, which affected the amount of expansion you had on the mouth, which in turn, some cases shaved the bullet, some didn't. So a shaved bullet, there goes your accuracy. And then the taller cases either got too much crimp or not enough, or they got the right amount and the shorter cases didn't get enough. So your crimp's all over the place. So therefore, before you can determine whether your bullet is the issue, you have to make sure you're doing a good job with your cases. Okay? Now there's one last thought I want to leave you with. Don't ever, ever, ever go to the range and shoot cast bullets and then follow up with jacketed, even plated. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Lead can leave leading in your bore. And if you have a particular diameter bore and you lead it, now your diameter just got smaller. So what happens if you come behind that with a jacketed bullet? What can happen is it's so small that the jacket's got to go. It's got to go. So what can happen is you can bulge your barrel. Something's got to give. So the barrel bulges. So you're sitting there shooting. You get done, and all of a sudden you look, and you have a bulge in your barrel. So always shoot cast and plated first, and then shoot your. I'm sorry. Always shoot jacketed and plated first, and then shoot your cast. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. That's my live stream. That's all I had, and I held under an hour. My goal was to be done somewhere around 11, because the games are starting, and me and Miss Highboy, we're just gonna go sit in our recliner today and watch the games. That's what we're gonna do. And I'm not really a big football buff. We just want to do it. So, okay, guys, that's it. That's my live stream, and I hope you had a good one. Oh yeah, Andy does get that. You're right. Yeah, Andy. Let me. Oh, it's not zinc. He won't want it. And we got Highwayman Reloaded, brother. It's good to see you. And I apologize. You came on yesterday just as I was shutting everything off, and I didn't get to say hi to you. But it's good to see you. I always appreciate you being on. So that's all I had. Any last questions? Any last questions? So if you're not a member on 76highboy.com, make sure you are. I'll tell you why. If you have questions over what I just went through, most of you guys in the comments are on there. But we're going to have a lot of people watching this video, right? You know what? Don't load something up you're not sure about. There's nothing worse than that, right? So after you watch this video, if you got something you want to load, you've got questions, come on over to 76highboy.com. No one will talk down to you. No one will insult you because they'll be gone, right? Because I'd rather people ask the questions and be safe than not ask the questions and get hurt. So come on over to 76highboy.com, and we'll be glad to help you. So all right, I'm gonna call y'all out. Happy Pills. Everyone, we got a new guy called Happy Pills. I think the pills he's talking about are, I like that. That's a happy pill. It's a very happy. Thank you. Hey, Happy Pills, if you're not on the forum, would you go to 76highboy.com and sign up using that same name? That way I'll know you. If you have questions, please ask. And it's good to see all the new people. MacMan 39 Reloading. So this is what I want everyone to do. I want everyone to tell us when's the next time you're going shooting and what firearm are you taking? When's the next time and what firearm? And I'll call you out. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Reb. Ooh, MacMan, gonna be doing 338 Lapua next weekend. Way to go. Critter 45. You could be doing in a Critter 9A. You'll be doing 45 and it's 1911. GGW Outdoors. When it's dry next week. 450 Bushmaster. You know what? I could go shooting today, but it's wet out. I don't want to. Roadkill Raker. You got this, brother. Good to see you. Vejo. 15 minutes. Kimber 9mm 1911 and Springfield Operator 45 ACP. Man, that's sweet right there, buddy. Reptiree next week, 45 ACP 1911s. If I'm over this cold, well, we hope you get over it. We do. Happy Pills, for sure. Just got into cast bullets and trying to absorb as much. Well, if you're getting into cast bullets, you want to get over to the forum. Get to know Walter Bunning. He goes by Viejo, has his own channel. I get to know CW. We got a ton of guys that cast, and I cast, but I'm still learning, so I don't, until I really know what I'm talking about, I don't pass too much on. Johnny 1982, maybe today, maybe 308 Winchester. Very good. Tactical FUD. Today, 1911 45 ACP, PCC, and 300 Blackout. Nice. Ratchet Man. Next Saturday, AR-15 assault rifle and comms. Very cool. Star Liquid. Hey ya. Okay. Highwayman Reloaded later today. 6.5 Grendel. GGW Outdoors. They will have a great time, he says. Yes, sir, he will. Okay, guys. Thank you. You guys humble me. I'm glad I can. I'm always glad I can help people. And you know what? I couldn't do this if I didn't have such awesome subscribers. It makes my day when guys tell me I'm reloading, your channel helped me, and I'm doing it safe, and I'm doing something I never thought I would do. I love that. Again, if I'm doing that, I'm doing my job. So make sure next Wednesday, 7 o'clock, Bible study right here. Battle Room Bible study. Okay, guys. Oh, and then Thursday night, right here, I'm gonna T7 turret, instant indicator, competition shell holders, and we're going to be sizing cases for the 30-06. So I hope to see you there, guys and gals. That's the end of this video. God bless. We'll see you on the next.